What's going on, everybody? We are doing another beer review, but this is a little bit different tonight. Tonight we're going to be doing a whole bunch of beers from Oregon. We're going to be drinking a lot of beers just in tastings, and it's going to be a little bit different format video, but we're going to go for it. Alright, and the beer drawing first blood tonight is Blind Pig from Russian River. If you want to see the tag, here's the tag. Blind Pig, Russian River. Damn, Blind Pig is always good. Alright, one thing to note about Blind Pig, this is one of my favorite things about it, is the beautiful color. Look at that. It's nice and light-bodied. It's not a full-bodied beer. It's like a lighter medium body. It's not quite so light like a Pilsner, but it's not heavy like you have in some of your humongous IPAs or stouts. The aroma on it is pure West Coast hops. Very, very pleasant and not super bitter. It's a nice balance between sweetness and bitter that you have from the grain backbone. So all in all, solid beer, easy 9 out of 10. Alright, and this awesome drink tank is actually what housed this delicious Blind Pig today. This is actually from the Bend Ale Trail. It's from the Visitor Center, and you can only get it there, so I love the color. And it's kept the beer perfectly fresh for a week now, so fantastic. Alright, we've got another beer here. This one's Wandering Possum from Drake's. It's filled in a non-Drake's growler if you're curious. That's another IPA. Super, super, super light colored, nice and hazy. Smells delicious. You can throw a french fry at me, I'll eat it. And you can talk because I have a lavalier on. Caught it. Yeah. I think I have a new favorite beer. Like, that's a pale, like a light-bodied IPA compared to that.
Grunion.
This is like Grunion on steroids. This is very good. This is if you haven't had Grunion from Ballast Point, it's a very, very light pale ale, a nice hoppy beer, very bright, very clean. But it also has some kind of earthy, dank undertones on that beer. So as bright and hoppy as it is initially, it lingers with a nice dirty undertone. And this beer has that same kind of earthy, grassy aroma. It's killer. And the grain comes through the same scent. I'm pretty sure they're using raw malt or Maris Otter up there for this beer. And it's very good. So this beer's from Drake's. If I had to give this thing a score, it'd be a solid 9. This beer's killer. And this is, again, Wandering Possum. It's Alpha Centauri by Hop Valley. Another Oregon beer.
It's big. We had it at Dito's when they had it. So I tried to follow it. It's exactly what I remember.
Ooh. Yeah, it smells like 9%.
His wife got pissed. Said you're not keeping it. You're selling some of that. That's bullshit. So he came in and it was funny while we were talking.
This is killer. This beer is super hoppy, super pleasant. High alcohol, so it's got alcohol sweetness and malt sweetness. The hop choices are traditional West Coast IPA. There's nothing super outstanding in the hop choice, but the blend of the alcohol with the amount of hop in it, it's 100 IBUs. It's very, very balanced. Solid 8.25 out of 10 on this beer. Alright, one quick caveat about this beer. This beer is pretty much for hop heads. If you're not a fan of really hoppy beers or barley wines, you probably won't like this. But if you do like really hoppy beers, barley wines, anything high in alcohol that's got that alcohol burn and sweetness, this beer is definitely for you. It's very, very solid.
Yeah.
The color's super nice too. The aroma's nice. The body's a medium-bodied beer. Very, very good.
I like this year. I think it's been my favorite year so far. Yeah. I get that every year. I remember when first year I got it.
Next beer, 2017 Hoptimum from Sierra Nevada. Fresh from Sierra Nevada. Ooh, the aroma on this is really, really good. It's super, super pleasant. Being a big IPA. Alright, so triple IPA isn't really a real thing, not yet anyways. It's not an accepted beer style, but typically what you're looking for in a triple IPA is balance of hops and alcohol and malt. So it's not going to be too malty, not too hoppy, not too boozy. And this beer pulls it off super duper well. It's really, really nice. the way it comes through, the malts that they're using are very, very pleasant. A little bit honey forward, a little bit sweet, and they complement the big hop backbone. If I had to rank Hoptimum from this year on a scale of 1 to 10, it would easily be an 8.5. It's really good. Every year it's good, but this year I think it's better than last year's. This is the next beer. This is Riptooth from Planktown in Springfield, Oregon.
Yeah.
All right. So this Riptooth from Planktown is really pleasant. It's a little on the dark side for an IPA. The nose comes through a little bit soapy, but not super so much so. Really floral, and maybe it's just the hop choices they're using that give it that aroma. The body on this is a medium to heavy bodied IPA, and the carbonation's still there, but the mouth feels a little bit on the heavy side. All in all, this beer is pretty solid. It's about a 7.5, 7.75 out of 10. Very solid beer. But I wish it had a little bit more mouthfeel, a little bit more carbonation. But it's very pleasant to drink. It's very balanced. So anything in the aroma of being a little bit maybe too soapy, too malty goes away when you taste it. It's really balanced on the way down. Next beer is from Pelican Brewing.
I'm almost positive. No,
this is Mosaic Pale Ale, right? Mosaic IPA.
That was the deal. Or maybe I'm thinking of something.
And for those of you who know me in real life, know that I absolutely love Mosaic as a hop. All right, the aroma on this is melon and fruity, just like you're gonna get from Mosaic. This is if you're a fan of Mosaic, the aroma is pure Mosaic.
We didn't have ourselves a fun night after that.
Ooh.
No.
Yeah, the Mosaic.
Whatever.
In this, there's
there's
the right amount of Mosaic hop in this, and it comes through as really dank with the melon character, with a little bit of grapefruit and citrus characters. Mosaic's a really complex hop. A lot of people only really pick up like citrus and blueberry, but it also has a little bit of melon note to it too. And because of the hop schedule that they use in this beer, it really shows the flexibility of the hop. It's really pleasant, and the color on this beer. Let's see if I can get you a good image here.
He's got like 6 one that has a personality.
Gorgeous beer.
Nobody knows.
Thus far, from all the beers we've had tonight, this for sure is my favorite one that we've had. This is very, very, very good. This is the Mosaic IPA from Pelican Brewing, and apparently you can park on the beach. Like when you go to get this beer in Oregon, you can park on the beach and get it. How cool is that? All right, we're going to be moving on to another beer here in a little bit. All right, this beer, honestly, if you like Carl Strauss Mosaic, this makes you go, Carl who? This beer is very, very, very good. This is the Umbrella from Pelican.
Family, right? We were on the right track.
All right, yeah, so this is the New World India Pale Ale. It comes in at 7.4%. 60 IBUs. Okay, so anyways, this is a New World Pale Ale. New World Pale Ales deviate from the malt forward backbone, so it's going to be really light colored and very hop forward. And the aroma on this is very stripped down grain bill, almost like a smash IPA. If you've had a smash IPA, that's kind of what this comes across as.
Cheerio.
Super pleasant, a really nice light. Sweet grain, not super heavy, and a very balanced hop profile. Solid beer. Umbrella from Pelican, solid 8.5, give or take. It's a very, very good beer. This is Pickleweed by Pizza Port Brewing. Adrian brought this. He was the guy I stole the beer from in the video that is coming out later that's from the Gun Whale. So if you watch that video, you'll see that I'm talking about beers, and I steal his beer from him while I reach for it. This is an IPA, obviously, because we're doing IPA night. The color is gorgeous, super, super pale. Very pleasant. It tastes like maybe they're doing this beer with Pilsner malt. It has that very distinct kind of like real sweet Pilsner malt, really light body, really effervescent, and the hops just come through hugely. I mean, you're going to get hops, a lot of hops in a really light bodied beer like this. If I had to take a guess, saying it's 6.2% and it's this light bodied, I would say it's probably 60 IBUs because of the way it comes across the palate. But this is a really, 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 really pleasant beer. And if you're not familiar, IBUs are international bitterness units. Danny gets the credit on that one. If I had to give this thing a score on a scale of 1 to 10, this beer would easily be a solid 8.75. It's very pleasant, very light bodied. If you see this in your bottle shop, go pick it up. Okay. Now we're going to do one of the most divisive beers in the craft beer world, and this is Pliny the Elder. If you're not familiar with the style, this is the genesis of the modern West Coast IPA. This is the beer that basically kickstarted everything that you have as an IPA now. And whenever you say West Coast IPA, this is the beer that you go after. This is what everybody's been trying to mimic forever in the craft beer world. And I have to say, it's not a bad beer, but times have changed, and this beer came out, I believe, in the late 80s. Yeah, I think it's the late 80s, maybe early 90s. It's not. It's been around the longest as an American IPA, but when you have beers like Sculpin that are modeled after a West Coast IPA, or even Green Flash West Coast, they are much more pungent, much more full-bodied, and have more character than you're going to have for this. But this is a good beer. Vinny makes a nice beer, but again, I think Blind Pig's a better beer. So I'm going to try to put my bias aside and do an unbiased review on this, and this is going to be kind of challenging. Super light-bodied. I understand why this beer gets all the respect it does, because it's very, very, very pleasant. Loads of Simcoe, just absolute loads of Simcoe. Very, very, very nice. If I had to give this beer a score on a scale of 1 to 10, I might get some hate for this, but it's only going to get an 8, because I think Sculpin's an 8, and I can get Sculpin any day of the year. You got to branch out with that Pliny the Elder. You got to get into other IPAs, because you're limiting yourself on what the range of hops are going to do. If this is your thing and this is the only beer that you've ever had that's an IPA, you're really doing yourself a disservice. So that's all I've got to say about that. Next beer, Deschutes Fresh Squeezed. Fresh Squeezed is going to come across more malt forward. The hops are going to be a wet hop edition. They're not going to be as alpha acid heavy. Alpha acid imparts your bitterness into your beer. So this is going to be more malty, yet have a really pleasant hop finish, since the hops, being a wet hop edition, aren't going to be super bitter. Yep. Fresh Squeezed to me, depending on what you guys like for your IPAs, it's a solid, solid C plus, like 7.75 out of 10. It's not amazing, but it's a very good beer. So, all right, last beer of the night for the beer review of all the IPAs is Lizard's Mouth from Figueroa Mountain. Beautiful color. Standard big IPA, nothing super remarkable, but very pleasant, hoppy, really nice sweet malt character, but it's complemented by the hoppiness of it. Very balanced beer. All in all, this beer always impresses. I would say it's probably 8.75, maybe 9 out of 10. It's a good beer. That's going to do it for me. If you guys liked this video, thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. Thanks, everybody. See you later.